Hello and welcome to CGTN live streaming. I'm reporter Meng Qingsheng here at Tonga's Fuamoto International Airport. It's about a 40 minutes drive to the country's capital city, Nuku'alofa. On January the 15th, Tonga has suffered a severe disaster. That is an undersea volcano erupted. This also caused a volatile tsunami devastating all the houses and damaging the livelihood of the people, making it very difficult for the people to access drinking water, food, and shelter. At the same time, it also severed the only undersea cable connecting the country to Fiji and thence to the outside world. On the request of Tonga, the Chinese government has sent several batches of emergency supplies. And right here, you can see that this latest batch of emergency supplies has been sent by China's Air Force. Now, the Air Force aircraft has just touched down here. As you can see that the aid workers are now unloading the aid from the aircraft. I need to mention that all the delivery here has been conducted in a contactless way because Tonga now has very strict COVID protocols. All the goods arriving in the country should be disinfected and quarantined for at least 3 days. And then the people would drop by and then retrieve the goods. And over there, you can see there is a handover ceremony being held in the distance. The Tonga officials, including the Prime Minister and the delegates from Chinese embassies, are welcoming emergency supplies arrival. And I need to mention that the latest batch of goods include food, drinking water, and personal protective equipment, tents, and walkie-talkies. Now, this latest batch of emergency supplies has been delivered here by 2 aircraft of the China's Air Force. And over the past 2 days, I've been embedded with a military crew flying all the way from China to the country. The whole journey takes about 20 hours, and the distance covers around 10,000 kilometers. The 2 aircraft left Guangzhou on Thursday with 3 stopovers along the way to fuel up. The Chinese military says it will send naval vessels on January 31st, just 1 day ahead of the Chinese New Year, to deliver another batch of aid. Most of them are bulky items like tractors, generators, and water pumps. In fact, since after the volcanic eruption and tsunami on January 15th, China has provided disaster relief assistance to Tonga through multiple channels. The Red Cross Society of China has provided $100,000 in cash and humanitarian aid. The Chinese government, through the Chinese embassy in Tonga, managed to put together some emergency supplies that were ready 4 days after the disaster. That's very responsive. China has also collected supplies worth 1 million yuan through its embassy in Fiji and delivered them on Thursday. The Chinese government says it will continue to do its best to provide assistance to meet Tonga's relief and reconstruction needs. Now, as you can see, the aid workers are now cooperating with the ground staff to get the cargo out of the aircraft. Altogether, the cargo weighs around 33 tons. So, as I mentioned, Tonga now has very strict COVID protocols. Everyone arriving from the outside should follow the rules. As you can see, that we are now wearing this protective suit. It's pretty hot here, but we must follow the rules, and we cannot contact directly with the local people, and we have to keep a distance within the safety limit. Now it's about 15 days after the undersea volcanic eruption, and I can still find the traces of the damage. As you can tell from the surroundings, you can see the trees and the greeneries. The color has been greenish. It's all previously covered with the volcanic dust. The locals have been doing lots of cleaning up work, trying to return their daily life to normalcy. However, according to latest statistics, they are still running out of basic essential supplies like food, water, engineering facilities, and folding bags, tents, things like that. And this is the Tongas Fuamoto International Airport. It's about 40 minutes drive to the capital city, Nuku'alofa. I can see that the people here at the airport, you can see from the distance that they are help loading the cargo into the warehouse where all the goods will be disinfected and quarantined for 3 days. The work has all been done with the protective suits. The internet and phone connection in the country has been very patchy, but recently the local telecommunication company has succeeded in restoring certain parts of the function. And just now when I landed here, I can use my mobile phone to make a phone call back to China and with the locals. They have upgraded the network from 2G to 3G, and the quality of the communication has been good. It's stable, so it's a very positive sign that life is now gradually resuming to normalcy here. Now, the first aircraft has just unloaded all its cargo, and now the 8 workers are now preparing for the maintenance of the aircraft to fuel up it, and then will return their journey back to China. As I mentioned, Tonga is now trying to prevent COVID from reaching the shores as more humanitarian aid begins arriving in the Pacific nation. It said in a statement earlier that it would ensure its supplies were delivered in a COVID-safe manner. In Tonga, the total population is around 105,000, and about 80% of the population have been hugely affected by the lingering effects of the disasters. Now in the air there's still some fine ash from the volcanic eruptions, and the local health department has warned people to try their best to stay indoors and use protection measures to protect the functions of the lungs, skin, to avoid some irritation syndromes. Now across the country, about 60% of the population have been fully vaccinated, and it has maintained strict internal restrictions since the start of the pandemic, including nighttime curfews and limits on gatherings. So immediately after the disasters, the poor internet and phone connections made it difficult for people to connect with their loved ones outside the world. So for several days in the beginning, they could not make it, they could not reach to their family members. But now the communication has been returning to normalcy. Now, As we know that Tonga has more than 170 islands, outlying islands, and only about 36 of them are inhabitable. When the tsunami came in, most of the inhabitants living on the outlying islands, their lives have been greatly impacted, and now they are now in urgent need of daily necessities. Now, hopefully, all the emergency supplies will be handed out to them and help them recover from the disaster. Just now, we had an exclusive interview with the Prime Minister, and he thanked China's assistance by delivering many packages of emergency supplies. And he also valued the friendship between China and Tonga. And China's foreign ministry has expressed earlier that China will continue to offer its help, try every means to meet the needs of the country's recovery and reconstruction efforts. By saying that, we come to the end of today's live streaming. Please stay tuned with the CGTN. We will keep you updated as more information becomes available. Bye for now.